unearth the stories behind the news. And we have our light moments too by chit-chatting about issues that affect our day-to-day life. We stay right here on the Sundown. Join in and be part of the show on iRadio, your eye on South Sudan. The Sundown. For the news, views, opinion, debates, and discussions. Listen to Who is Who, talking about issues that affect our country and continent. Only on the Sundown, your eye on South Sudan.
Hello and welcome to the Sundown Show on iRadio with me, Madrama James. Today, we continue with the countdown to that 14th independent anniversary. And in this particular countdown, or to mark another step in our journey of that reflection and dialogue as South Sudan celebrates 14 years since gaining independence, as the country continue also to grapple with that challenges of peace, unity, and reconciliation. How far we have come and what must still be that's done to build a lasting peace. To help us understand these questions, we are honored to host the Undersecretary of the Ministry of Peace Building, mark my word, peace building, in the studio right here. And I'm blessed to be joined by Mr. Fia Philip Michael, and we will be discussing the progress made in peace building efforts, the role of communities and young people, and what more is needed to heal the nation. Good to have you, Mr. Undersecretary, to the studio of iRadio.
Thank you very much, James. Thank you for hosting me today.
Yes, to kick start, Mr. Secretary, 14 years after independence, how would you assess South Sudan progress in that peace building?
Yes, first of all, I want to offer that congratulations to South Sudanese, and also to honor and pay tribute to our forefathers, our heroes who gave us this beautiful republic, for which we are proud and for which we will be thankful forever. So yes, we can assess the progress 14 years down the road as an independent country. South Sudan has made some good gains, good progresses in peace building. But as you know, building a nation is not a smooth path. There are ups and downs. But the most important thing is that the people of South Sudan are focused, they are moving forward, they love their country, and they're also learning as they go forward. One thing which is very clear is that South Sudanese cherish and love the Republic of South Sudan. But of course, building peace and building a new nation has never been an easy path for anybody, any country, either in Europe or wherever. It is always a difficult, daunting task, but I want to believe that the spirit of the people of South Sudan is straightforward and focused.
Now, I've talked to some other frustrated South Sudanese who think like it's better we remain as Sudan as a whole because of some of the challenges. They would love to see peace, they would love to see justice, they would love to see prosperity and development. Now, as the Undersecretary at the Ministry of that Peace Building, what is that main achievement your ministry has recorded in recent years?
Yes, looking back to history and looking at the history of nation building, when you look at Germany and when you look at countries like Japan after the Second World War, the reconstruction took some time. And so, and also when you come to Africa and you look at countries like Rwanda, you look at South Africa, you will see that they went through very difficult times, but they came out of it. Now, to assess how far we have come and also the level of peace, there's been some challenges in South Sudan in terms of building peace and social cohesion among the people. But what we have seen of late is that many South Sudanese are paying attention to building peace among themselves, not only at the national level, but really at the grassroots level. Many traditional leaders, women leaders, the youth, many of them have believed that fighting will not give them the ultimate objective of a country. So the good news is that the peace building efforts is taking roots and people are starting to come forward. And we have also seen a lot of trust between communities with the churches, South Sudan Council of Churches, for example, the Islamic Council. People have moved forward in terms of reaching to this institution so that those institutions would help them create an enabling environment for them to talk. So yes, the roots of reconciliation and social cohesion is taking place.
Now, what are some of the challenges that continue, of course, to undermine peace effort? You earlier on said, yes, people are so positive to say that all the peace building initiative are, in place. What are some of the challenges that undermine also these efforts?
Yeah, the challenges, one of the challenge really is the fact of, resources. We have realized that peace building is more expensive than war. Building social cohesion, because war breaks the social fabric of a society. And so to rebuild it, it's not it's not like breaking one house or breaking a story building with one Antonov or one gun. But building peace takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of dedication. It takes a lot of spiritual engagement, because somebody has to spiritually agree to coexist again. Somebody has to spiritually give and take, to say, you hurt me, let me forgive you, so that we move forward. So building peace is not an overnight, it's a big process that requires a lot of resources. So one of the challenges we are having in building peace in South Sudan is the resources that are required for the people of South Sudan to sit, for the ministries of peace building, not at the national level only, but also at the state level with the peace commissions, to sit down and create an enabling environment for people to come and talk. You can only resolve a problem when the two parties sit and talk, and be able to offload all what they have been carrying against each other. Without that, people are not going to build social cohesion. And so that takes a lot of resources. We have this experience across the country, in all the 10 states and 3 administrative areas where we have state ministry of peace building. Every day, communities come to them and say, we want to talk. We have a problem with our neighbors, we want to talk. But then that requires resources. It requires logistics to enable the state ministries to reach out to these communities. It requires resources for them to provide the chairs and drinking water and something to eat for them to talk. And as you know, you cannot do it in one day. You want 2 days, 3 days for people to talk and also build on their traditional mechanism of conflict resolution. So resources has been one of the challenge. Second has been, some of the intercommunal violence that tend to exacerbate the problem. You find in some parts of our country there is still some conflict, people fighting. Sometimes it could be cattle raiding, it could be some revenge killing that has actually emanated because of the previous conflicts as well. So those also, sends the people backward by a step, because for you to attract reconciliation, the community should be peaceful. People should agree to sit and talk. But when people are fighting, again, it is sending people back a step, for them to move forward. So these are the challenges that we are facing.
We have received reports of that some other state ministry of that peace building. They feel like they are disconnected from the national government, and issues of also the communal violence that you talked of, it's also intensifying in some other parts of the country. Now, what kind of intervention is your ministry putting in place to resolve the issue of intervention and at the same time, to issues of that intercommunal violence, and at the same time linked some of these state ministries together?
Look, the role of the national ministry is to provide strategic policy direction, because we cannot be in every state, in every county, every Payam, every Boma at the same time. Also, the level of government, the national government is another level. You have the state government. And so we cannot also go down to the state government to manage affairs there. What we have done is passing the policy documents to our peace building ministries at the state level for them to cascade it down to the counties, to Payams, and to the Boma level. And so, but we support in terms of engaging with partners and making sure that some of those areas that are really boiling get the service they need and the support they need. That's what we do. But we are not the policemen for our state ministries of peace building, because we understand the state is another level of government with their constitution, with their parliament, with all the three organs of the government. So that's what we do. But for the intercommunal conflict at the state level, it is also the responsibility of the state government and the communities. Look, what we had planned to do earlier was to ensure that, we go to all counties, to all Payam, to preach peace. Because there are two different things. One, you sit and you expect people to respond in a certain way whom you have not talked to. If you don't engage people on what your perspectives are about peace, and you're only expecting them to be peaceful, you need also to give them the opportunity to sell the government policy and make sure that they are on board.
Now, we understand that grassroots peace initiative have a role to play. Now, marking that 14 years of that our independence, what kind of role have they so far played?
The grassroots have played a greater role. As I mentioned before, the interfaith, the churches are doing a great job. The traditional leadership authorities are doing a great job in most parts of the country. We have also seen the young people coming forward. I will give you an example. A month or two ago, we were in Wow for the Ngok and Twitch Youth Conference. And this Ngok and Twitch Youth Conference came because the young people, I went to ABA, and the ABA youth gave me a concept note and said, we want to talk as youth among ourselves. So that's a piece that comes from grassroots. And when we took them to Wow for about 5 days, at the end now, people are moving between Twitch and Ngok, because of the grassroots efforts. What we have seen is that communities coming forward and say, we have done it enough, we want to stop. Please create for us the enabling environment for us to talk. If it is a blood compensation, we are happy to pay the cows, because we have suffered enough, we have to move on. So grassroots initiatives are really working.
You earlier on says issues of that resources, specifically logistic, is also undermining some of this effort. Now, how are you supporting some of these initiatives? There is no money.
Yes, but we have to be creative. We have to be creative. Money is never enough, right? Even where the dollars are manufactured, they are not enough. You have to be creative. What we have done is really building our efforts on our partners' donor support. Our minister, Stephen Parkwall, has gone several times to New York, and we have built this relationship between the National Ministry of Peace Building and the United Nations Secretary General Peace Building Fund. And to that effect, because of those efforts, a lot is happening. The constitution making process, money is from the Peace Building Fund, the transitional justice, women in security sector, we have durable solution, we have a number of activities that we are doing, including of late, we just launched one project that we are doing, the Sobat Corridor. That's also helping the young people and making sure that the Nile flow and the goods moving on that is. So really the efforts we are doing is reaching out to our donors and to our partners and say, look, if you are here for anything, you are here to build peace. If you are doing business in South Sudan, if the environment is not peaceful, you are not going to reap up your investment. If you want to convince your headquarters and say you have invested millions of dollars in South Sudan, if there is no peace, you have nothing to show. So peace is a bedrock for everything, and you must support social cohesion so that you can show result of the investment in South Sudan.
Now, most of the conflict really localized. And Juba is not the only country or state in South Sudan. In some other parts, civilians are not really sleeping now. What kind of special initiative to reconcile these people, to also think about them, not only Juba?
Yeah, we have different initiatives. For example, we also know that you can achieve peace through development. Peace cannot just come. In many countries, we have seen countries getting stable because through development.
And some of these areas, they don't have even proper road, they don't have clean drinking water, hospital, and so forth and so on.
But James, this is what we have learned, that the seed of clean water, the seed of clinic, the seed of a school, the seed of a feeder road can only grow on a peaceful ground. So the issue of peace building is that it is give and take. In many parts of South Sudan, even when we talk to our partners that please, why don't you go to this area? Partners will say, we fear the security of our workers. So we need to do two things. As I always say, life is give and take. You know, take oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. If you take oxygen and you don't release carbon dioxide, then you have 5 minutes to live and you die. So what we are telling our people is that you have the opportunity to attract development by being peaceful, by resolving your conflict in a way that your forefathers resolved conflict. Conflict is not new today. I understand even in heaven there was conflict. That's how Lucifer, the chief of the devil, was thrown down. He wanted to sit on the seat of God, and God said, no, this seat is belong to me alone. That's what the Bible says. Anyway, the point I'm making is that conflict is everywhere. Conflict has been there before our generation. But how did our forefathers resolve conflict? Why can't we go to that? We have seen in South Sudan, there are very good examples. The Woundlit example that's always talked about. So what we are telling our people that let them build peace among themselves, resolve their conflict in a peaceful manner to attract clean water, to attract education, to attract health care. There are corners of this country, I don't want to mention here, where there is a lot of progress. And many donors have said those states are already on the path to development. Donors are putting money in those states because they are already on the path of development. They are past stage 1 of conflict violence or violent conflict, where they have conflict but they resolve their conflict in a peaceful manner. So a lot of schools are being built there, a lot of clinics, a lot of developmental things. So our message to our people is that be peaceful, attract development, and more peace will be built on that.
Well, via our Facebook page, we have Ding Ayok that is watching this show from a side where residents always spend a day with empty stomach. And South Sudan is also gearing towards that's commemorating the 14th independent anniversary. Looking at such a situation coming from our own citizen, what would be your reaction as the Undersecretary at the National Ministry of Peace Building?
But James, let's speak the truth. South Sudan, we are really blessed. We are blessed with rain, with fertile soil. In fact, it beats my understanding that some of our people, especially at the countryside, like me, especially in the villages like my village, to sleep hungry. I don't quite understand it. Because first of all, we grew up not because of money, but because of tilling the ground, planting the seeds, and harvesting. Well, there are particular issues, especially where there's been violent conflict. That one is understood. Where there is conflict, active conflict, yes, people do not have the time to plant. That's a challenge. And that's why we're encouraging our people to embrace resolving conflict either with the government, with the other community in a peaceful manner. That's the best thing. Because then you will have time to produce, to feed yourself and feed your children. But solving problems through the barrel of the gun, through killing, is what is giving us empty stomachs.
Dear listener, if in case you have just joined us, you are listening to the Sundown Show now radio with me, Madrama James, and this evening I'm blessed to be joined by Undersecretary at the National Ministry of Peace Building, Philip Michael. And if you have a question or comment, please do not hesitate to drop it via our Facebook page or call us live on that 0911-022-986-986. It's a high time now for us to listen to your questions. That's via our live call as South Sudan is gearing to mark that 14 years after independence. So first caller, I radio.
Madrama James.
You are engineer.
Engineer Moses.
Welcome.
Madrama James ban anina junubin. Awal haja na basilimale fi studio al job dana fi studio.
Shukran.
Ta anina junubin. وقت نعمل استغلال سنة 2011 نعمل ثلاثة يا بايدن بيجا قوم كلاس في ساوث السودان. أنا بقول هنا فاشلين including me ذاته. الجنوبيين هنا فاشلين.
ليه أنت بقول كلمة دي؟
ليه أنا بقول كده؟ طبعا وقت نعمل 21 سنة إجابة. ini kan gari pati dol ta yani ne batala dola junub sudan al bugul south sudan okay rabbuna sade una man jabala nina anina modin se lagral anina amsa gedina shira anina jabnu amu dalada sana onina shakal sana sai alekala nina maga sal badu wadi 20 sana nin kan amul figaba de onine ja shakal tani bana alekala de chunu ne de chunu ngari shakalu ani ma gara sar badu bas tali ana bishil bara tali kini ana bishil bara le tani ma ji wani Madrama James dia sabab ni dia sabab gul ni pasiri ni jurubin kakulu bi musulin dana so ana aswal bita les you can be video al means of peace building ana maru uju bade ya Sudan baro bara manakira walayat bara min al-thalatha administrative area ana mana fi juba ini ana ma shafi yom wai yani man jai amara ga ko gala jama ni nas peace building amra awareness kede ana ma shafi yom wai ya dan para juba ini fi jibala miyani sai alekala bayan adi bas gadda min sawa peace building ya samu gana gulda ni pashirin kulin kulitin mi
نعم شكرا.
لو كنت بشغل بتاعك شوف شغل بتاعك كويس.
نعم.
ما تعرف أنا نا بتاعك رسول من برا بتاعك. تاتو تبصير فوق ده رسول من فوق.
نعم شكرا نودي فرصة. نعم.
تبعك مالات السيف. يا سؤال بتاعك.
شكرا نودي فرصة لأن السكرتير عشان كيف يجاوبوا سؤال بتاعك. عند السكرتير تاسمه من انجينير موسى او قريب بس في جبل عميانين قال ما في توعية ولا awareness القاد باسل في community. Now another quick also point he mentioned here is saying the people of this country failed the country. Now are you subscribing to that? Is it the people who failed the country or the leaders of this country failed the country? What's your take?
Yes, thank you, engineer. First of all, let me start with the last question. I don't know whether our country is failed. Because, you know, a failed nation, there are certain characteristics, you know. There is no government, you cannot go anywhere. There are some parts of, you know, like in Somalia, there are parts you cannot go. But in South Sudan, where can't you go? I mean, we are moving. I don't think we have reached a level that the country has failed. Yes, our people are frustrated because of the expectation was very high. But the challenge is that the expectations are not met at the speed they were expected. And that's why we are saying for us to meet the expectation of everybody, we must be builders of peace. But to say the country has failed, no, I don't think the country has failed. The country has not failed. But we have not met the expectation timely as our people expected.
Well, the second question, why are you only focusing on Juba?
Actually, as I said before, the National Ministry of Peace Building is a policy making body. We are not implementers. We have the state ministries in the 10 states and in the 3 administrative areas. Actually, the question of engineer should go to the State Ministry of Central Equatoria State. That some parts of Juba have not had the awareness about peace building and social cohesion, including Gebelamianin that he's talking about. So it's about division of labor, because we cannot go down, James. It will be like, okay, this is another level of government. The national level is policy making. The implementation level is the state ministries of peace building.
All right, quick caller, radio.
Madrama.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I'm up.
Ustaz Majog.
Ustaz Majog, marhab.
يعني بسلم على ابديتك في الفيديو عند السكرتير في وزارة بتاع السلام. مدرما جيمس أنا طبعا بستغرب إنه لما نجيب زول موجود في الاستديو ويعمل فلسفة بتاع السياسة، لأنه هو ما داير يعني هو ما داير يأكد إنه وزارة السلام ما قدر ما يحكي. أنا المبدأ بتاع الوزارة ده هم وزارة المفروض يلم الجنوبيين كويس. يعني ما يلز شغل للولايات. يعني هم يعني كوزاره قوميه انه هذه اللي في الولايات كويس. طيب انا بسال انه هم هسه الفتره كوزاره بتاع سلام هم قدموا شنو للجنوبيين؟
نعم
قدموا شنو للجنوبيين عشان الجنوب عارف الوزاره ده هو الوزاره الوحيد اللي قاعد يلم جنوبيين، بيشوف مشاكل الجنوبيين، بيفهم مشاكل الجنوبيين. فغير المكتب ده ما في هي ثانيه. انا بقترح اذا هم ما داير يعني هم ما داير يتاكد هم يعني هم فشلوا، المفروض دول قدم يستغلوا. دول ما قاعد يقدم خدمه للشعب، خلي قدم يستغلوا. بيقول يا اخوانا I'm paid just to deliver the service to the people. لكن ما حصل. واي نوت؟ ليه ما حصل؟ اي جنوبي قدم يستغل بس انت بس هنا في ولان قدم يستغل في ناصر كاونتي. شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا. نعم، السكرتير بقول شنو في كلمه الاستاذ مجوجيان ونسو.
What we have said is that we are talking about the division of labor, and I don't know how to put it better. That there are 3 levels of government. That the national ministry prepares the policy. We have the peace policy document for the Republic of South Sudan. We have the strategic framework for peace building in the Republic of South Sudan. We have a document to combat hate speech, including on social media, that's banning our country for South Sudan. We have communication strategy to ensure that people are not just insulting our country and activating hate in the hearts of people. This is the level we do. And the other level we do is going out, representing South Sudan out, and mobilizing partners to come and do peace building in South Sudan. That's our mandate. Because we work also with the mandate, you know. The other activities we have done here in Juba is to bring, we have been celebrating for the last 2 years, we have been celebrating International Day of Peace. And also people came from all parts of Juba and we have been celebrating this. So the points that Majoka said and the engineer, they're important. But this is also an important takeaway, because I will reach out to my colleague, the Minister of Peace Building here in Central Equatoria, and I point this to him, that the people in Juba want peace building efforts to reach up to them, to create awareness and to disseminate peace to them.
You mentioned earlier on some important document that your ministry is rolling out. Now, after rolling out, why don't you do inspection or supervision whether they are really implementing some of this document in the states and administrative areas?
What we do is we give them to the states. You know, James, to be honest, there have been also a lot of challenges in the states, by the way. There have been a lot of challenges. The economic crisis has also affected the implementation of the work of everybody. So, and I believe that every state minister in the 10 states and 3 administrative area and those peace commissions are trying their very best. I mean, I cannot mention how many peace dialogue we have carried, you know, How many peace dialogue?
But why are they not yielding fruits?
No, they're yielding fruit. They're yielding fruit. I just told you about what happened in Ngok and Twitch. For the last 4 years, there's been a lot of conflict. But when we mobilize partners to address this issue, because it came from grassroots, we have peace now there. We had peace between Lake State and Warrap, Lonjang and Pakam, and there is some semblance of peace there. We had Marialbai. We had a lot of peace engagement in Jongle. You know, there is a lot that's happening. That the initiative that we are doing, it is yielding fruit. And so if these efforts were not there and people are not talking, I think maybe things would be a little bit different.
All right. Let's keep the conversation going by calling that our studio line on 0911-229-86986. Hi, Radio. Hi, Radio.
Hello.
Yes, Emmanuel Panadol.
Aike.
Mabatal Marhab.
Ayo, alhamdulillah.
Naam.
Ana mursi ujara fita dugulu fita salam peace building. Ministry. Deta banda ulumara anasma ujara de. Aye. Ana itu suala lana bata.
Gadam.
Hal ujara fita monde. Besu monda ul fish de bet le community ma community wala umpon amul fish di Yunus Sudan am asan Sudan de kon fi salam. Ana ganu kedir wo bol kala fi community lakin ana mabaro ita kon de bes fatis bet le community malo ita magol kala fi hakuma ko kenak. Ma salam de aku mama biju salam biju Sudan wa ita ya ministry enak ta ya ministry la hasan de ma fi fish biju Sudan masakil ya de gira fo idam asa nas kullu fi displace ya ma fi hakika ta salam wa ita kon ena gale ta kun nas ta salam fish building ya ministry wala ta kun de ina ita kun bes yani lemeya kalas lejeba yajul gain murta ana ujiru wana ana sekretary wana kida lakin ma fi so pala lita undamo so masakali ya dura gidam ita o mabi kala mukobo malu ita marwa le reisi ina takani kala mugale mali ya reisi yibu salam tidele ya kana mutasi ita dai kala mukalam ita community kalam ita abugar usunu kida ruwa kala mbereisi na kali musu zaman asanna baru kali tim ojara kita kunde sahar so
Shukran. What's your take on the reaction from that's Emmanuel Panadol here in Juba?
Yes, Emmanuel Panadol, thank you very much. I understand your frustration. Now, the Ministry of Peace Building does engage with the governments. In 2021-2022, we went to almost the 10 states and 3 administrative areas to do what we call executive retreat. Executive retreat was an opportunity to bring the state governments together for them to discuss on how to work together as one government, but not as political parties. Because in South Sudan, it was the first time we were going to multi-party democracy. Many political parties sitting in the cabinet at the state level. Many political parties in the state parliament and as commissions. So we went to the states and we walked them through the peace agreement, and we told them that the spirit of the peace agreement is collaboration, that you must work. If a governor is in opposition or a governor is IG, they have to work together for the interests of their people. So we did that, and because that came in because we sensed that in many states the government was not working together. If the governor, for example, is IO, and then a minister brings a memo about clean water who is not IO or not IG, it would not move very well. So this orientation, this executive retreat brought stability in most of the state government. So we are not leaving government out of this. And also there is a high-level task, the RGMEC is part of it and so on. That is engaging our national government at the higher level. There is a high-level committee, there is a high-level team that's monitoring the peace agreement who are doing the high-level engagement. We are doing the engagement at the state level and the community level. So here there is a division of labor, and we have to, as government, we have to attest to the division of labor.
Well, still the chance is yours on 0911-22986-986, and I'm also happy for those who have taken their humble time to write to that's our Facebook page. Just shortly, I will go through them. Hi, radio. Mr. Hanur.
أنا كشك من سيو تري جوبا.
مرحب كشك.
أنا بايق أخوي في الاستديو وبايق ضيف بتاعنا عند في وزارة بناء السلام في السودان.
نعم.
سؤال بداية ما بطلع بين الناس أسئلة بتاع أخواني. طبعا كل الوزارة بتاعه كان قلنا وزارة بتاع بناء طرق وبناء وطرق وكباري يا بعمل طرق بتاعنا وعمل كباري بتاعنا كان قال ده وزارة السلام ويا بقول بالسلام أدوار السلام. أخوي في الاستديو ما تزعج من سؤال إنه وزارة السلام ما باين. أصلا أنت لو عملت شيء بشكروك، لكن لو عملت حاجة بقول لك لا أنت ما فعلت شيء. بل بسيط كده، وزارة السلام في الدولة وأنت قاعد فوق أصلا أنت تكتري ده. أصلا الدولة في صراع سياسي. في سياسة داخلة في جوبا هنا، في اشتغالات، في ناس كثير قاعدين في سجن، بما فيهم نائب الأول رئيس الجمهورية في سجن. في نفس الوزارة أنت قاعد فوق ده. يا وزير ذات السلام ستيفن باركول يا وزارته جاب درجرة جاب مشاكل تخم في شهر ده ويا وزارة درشة نفسه قال يا هو ذاته رئيس بتاع حركة شعبية. طيب إذا نفس الوزارة بناء السلام تجي عنده مشكلة ذات في الجنوب وأنت هسه جاي في الاستديو وأنا نحن بناء السلام أين سلامته وأنت بنوع هسه؟ أقول تبغى غير كلام بتاعكم هسه ما بناء السلام ده بتاع مشاكل يعني مشاكل هسه الليلة في الناس طائرة ضرب ناس وطائرة ضرب ناس في تجارة فنجار وفي كم نفر خطفونا في شارع بتاع ايي في سنتر فيكتوريا وما في استقرار سياسي. أين دور بتاع بناء السلام؟ أخوانا بتوع مشروع الفقاعة هنا وتومين زار وقف من مشاركة فرق البدء بالجوبة هنا تومين زار وقف وتأتى زار وزارة بتاع بناء السلام. أين دوركم؟ السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام. نعم ودي فرصة برضو للسكرتاري. مرحبا.
Yes, Coach, I think I am a civil servant. I'm not a politician for that matter. And what I'm talking about is the technical engagement that the mandate of the ministry assigns. And, the ministry is not an individual. It is an institution. People come to institution and people go. So the work that we are doing in accordance with our mandate to engage the communities of South Sudan. But the ministry is not the minister. The ministry is not the undersecretary. The ministry is an institution that has been given mandate to implement those mandates for the stability of the country. Yes, there are issues. There are security issues. But also, the Ministry of Peace Building is not a security ministry. Our role is not, when people are fighting, it's not our role to go there. We don't go there because we don't have guns to fight. But we wait for when there is no active violence. That's when we engage communities to tell them that there is no absolute winner for war. Why don't you, if you have any issues, why don't you resolve them the other way than fighting? Because you can still resolve your problem without fighting. So that's the mandate that we have. I know there are a number of things, a number of security things happening in the country. So that's not our mandate. As a civil servant, our mandate is to implement social cohesion among people and build that strong base for South Sudanese who will say no to violence, who will say we can still have problems, but we can resolve them through a peaceful manner.
All right. Dear listener, in case you have just joined us, you're listening to the Sundown Show. And to mark another step in our journey of that reflection and dialogue as South Sudan celebrate 14 years in gaining independence, I'm thrilled to be joined live in the studio here by Under Secretary at the National Ministry of Peace Building, Philip Michael, to really have a look at how far we have come as a country and what must still be done to build lasting peace in the country. Let's have our first commercial break. When we come back, we shall be giving you that platform on 0911-022-986 to direct your question to Mr. Undersecretary, who is with me in the studio right here.
The Ministry of Health is conducting a commemoration of African Vaccination Week with a new vaccine introduction of pneumonia vaccine, targeting all children aged between 6 to 14 weeks. Take your child to the nearest vaccination center during the African Vaccination Week or Big Catch-up campaign.
Good morning, Mama Alice.
Good morning, Mama Ladu. Where are you coming from this morning?
I had taken Ladu for pneumonia vaccination at the health center to protect my child against pneumonia and meningitis. He was also vaccinated with other routine immunization vaccines at no cost. Is baby Alice already vaccinated?
Yes, she was vaccinated last month. Does she need to be vaccinated again?
Yes, she needs to be vaccinated with at least 3 doses at 6, 10 and 14 weeks to be fully vaccinated, immunized and protected against pneumonia.
Really? I just heard from afar that there will be a vaccination campaign during the African Vaccination Week, but I was not keen enough to get the details.
You know, pneumonia vaccine is effective in preventing pneumonia and deaths in infants and young children. This vaccine has just been introduced this year, 2025. A lot of children were not vaccinated. Some even travel without being vaccinated. I wouldn't want to see any child get pneumonia.
I didn't know that pneumonia is very serious, that it can cause meningitis and even death.
Yes. Pneumonia is a life-threatening disease caused by bacteria or viruses. The signs are cough, fever, chills, and shortness of breath, which may be accompanied by chest pain when breathing or coughing. Children who survive may experience long-term effects on lung function and increased risk of respiratory conditions like asthma.
Asthma or lung function complication? Oh, that sounds scary. How can I protect my child from this dangerous disease?
The only way for your child to be safe is when your child and all children in your neighborhood are vaccinated with pneumonia vaccine.
I will do that immediately. Where can I take my child for this vaccine? Hope it is not late.
No, you are not late. Pneumonia vaccine and all the other routine vaccines are available at all government health centers in your areas. Tell your neighbors with children between 6 to 14 weeks to be vaccinated.
I'm glad you told me. I will take my child immediately to the nearest health center for pneumonia vaccination.
Bring your child to the nearest health center and protect them from pneumonia and other vaccine-preventable diseases. This message is brought to you by the National Ministry of Health with support from WHO, UNICEF, and South Sudan Women in Medicine.
Itabasma le radio Hagiga, I radio, en Takum fi Junub Sudan.
Welcome back from that commercial break, and still it's your high time for us to listen to your comment or question right here by calling that our studio line on 0911 986 986 as we count down to that 14th anniversary. I read you.
Hello.
Mabatal.
Yeah, you are speaking to Makuch in Jakarta.
Welcome. Makuch or Makich?
Okurut.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, I'm in Jakarta.
Mm.
So actually, my message to my guests in the studio, I may not be far from other people who called ahead of me before. In the Ministry of Peace Building, I think we know, we the citizens of South Sudan, we know that we have a Ministry of Peace Building. But in that ministry, we are not aware. If all these crises are happening, we're not aware that there's a Ministry of Peace Building. And there's one of my brother who said before, where is that Ministry of Peace Building when all these things happen? You know, when we are peacemaker, we are supposed to call people after the fought. To call people and say, you, Mr. So, don't do this and don't do this again, and let us be one. But now is spoken to the communities, while the communities are not the ones having the conflict. It is these ministries even they are not in peace among themselves even.
So what's your question to Undersecretary?
Yeah. So I told him that you, Undersecretary of Peace Building, these ministries which are here in South Sudan, talk about defense and peace building, the health and finance, they are not in peace among themselves even. So let them try to have peace among themselves, and then they will come and fight for the communities.
All right.
And that's what I said.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me give chance to Undersecretary to respond to your reaction. Yeah.
Well, I think, thank you very much, Okrut, for your observation. But I think the ministries, we are not fighting among ourselves. The ministries are in peace. We work collaboratively. I know that there is a lot that different ministries are supposed to do, but because of the economic crisis, ministries are also trying what they can. And that's not, the economic crisis started after the war, and then also the war in Khartoum. And we are hearing the challenges that's happening. So the ministries in South Sudan, we have no problem really. We don't have conflict among ourselves. But also we are telling our people to resolve whatever conflict that they have in a peaceful manner. That's what we are telling our communities, because the ministry is there to support the people of South Sudan, and then it is the people of South Sudan who are in the ministries. So really the work that the government does is to support its people, and that's what that's the mandate of the ministry. So we don't have problems among ministries.
All right. Another quick call. Are you ready? Radio?
Yeah, Madrama Jamin.
You are.
I'm Augustus Majogian again.
نعم.
أنا طبعا أنا بتفرغ من إجابة بتاع عند السكرتيري. يعني هو بيقول إنه يعني هم ما بيخشوا لما يكون في كونفليكت ما بيخشوا لأن ما عندهم سلاح. يعني هلا بعد ما مشاغل انتهى يلا بعدهم من بيجي. طيب لو نادي كله انتهى. تاكلوا كده انتهت. يعني انت بتعمل فيه ما منو هناك. يعني حتى في زمن الحرب اذا كنا دينا سلم نفوسهم من برفع بير ابيض. ما عندهم سلاح، لما ترفع بير ابيض معناته زول تعطيه. طيب انتم يعني انتم لو دايرين كلا جنوبين ينتهي يلا بعد تيجي تتكلم مع منو؟ فانا شايف انه طبعا هو قاعد يتكلم كلام سياسي. الحقيقه طبعا جنوبين ما عندنا حقائق. المفروض الوزاره ده يقفلوا لان ما قاعد يقدم خدمه لاي جنوبيين. وزاره قاعد صاير يبقى ساكت ما بيجي فوق لانه حقيقه قاعد لما نقول وزاره السلام ما زي شنو دينيه. شنو دينيه وزاره السلام ده يا ده واحد، لكن الكلام غريب. يعني السؤال بتاعي بالنسبه له انت بتمشي بعد ما ناس ينتهي من المشاكل يلا الناس اذا انتهى انت بتسالها منو؟ انت بتعمل في منو؟ ما جمال كلام انتهى خلاص. شكرا.
كويس كده نودي فرصة ده هل لو كلام كلام زي ده وليتا قاصد welcome.
لا I did not say that we go when people are fought. No. What we do is that because we don't know when people will fight, right? When fight begins we don't know. And when people are fighting, the role of the Ministry of Peace Building is not there because the roles are divided. If people are fighting using arms, the ministry does not have arms. You cannot go. But then we talk to the community leaders. Why are your young people fighting? What can we do? Whom can we talk to? We have done this here in Juba with many communities. When communities are fighting, we bring the elders together. Whom can we talk to? Please, can you tell them to stop? And then let us create an environment where they can come and talk and resolve the conflict in a peaceful manner. We are not encouraging people to fight and then we come. No. As soon as we hear there is conflict, we go there. We say, who is the leader here? Who is the community leader? Who is there in the cattle camp? Which youth leader is leading that? And then so that we stop the war. We are not saying fight at the end and then
Now, Undersecretary, if you look at most of these conflict, it's also those who are triggering it sometimes could be different, but those who involve are the youth. And now, what space do young people have in the national that's a peace process and policy discussion? You talked of it earlier on. Go ahead.
Exactly. We last month we launched youth peace and security strategy, something that brings youth together to champion peace. We have also established some platform in some states that bring youth together to talk about building social cohesion and working together. I know the youth of this country are very important in bringing peace, by the way. We cannot be peaceful without engaging the youth. But the ministry has also taken a further step. We are saying we are not only engaging youth in town, we are engaging youth in the cattle camp as well. We are telling them that if you have any problem, you can still solve it. Many of the projects of peace building across the country, last year we launched the Western Unity, Mayendit, Panyijar project that's dealing with that, engaging the young people to be able to discuss and resolve their conflict in a peaceful manner. There is the same project that we have in Warap, in Tonj, bringing the young people together and also helping young people with livelihood skills, helping them to do other things instead of staying, and also helping some youth leaders to go from cattle camp to cattle camp. If there is a problem that this cattle camp took cows from this cattle camp, then those youth leaders go and resolve them. Ask another cattle camp, return the cows of this other cattle camp. So we are engaging young people seriously on these issues in many parts of the country. And as I said before, sometimes people don't see what we do. But we are doing a lot together with our partners across the country, together with the efforts of the state ministries of peace building and the peace commissions in the 10 states and 3 administrative areas.
All right, chance to that's one more lucky caller before we call it a day. Victor Wangelia, thank you for sharing your message with us. Zakaria via our Facebook page. Doug Wall, good luck, thank you. And then we have Abwatch, thank you as well. Gamma Simon, thank you. Let me talk to my last caller. Hi, radio. Hi, radio.
Hello, Drama James.
Aywa.
Misal Care.
Misal Nur.
أنا بس يوم نسبة في الكلام بتاعنا ده security ده. إتا إنه South Sudan ده security تو ما تمام نسيه فعلا. يعني في ناس السكالين كويسين في السكالين by axe. ما بزول نسيه على ناس كسوكتا أكوما ده هم بسيكا الدكوري. أفا كده إنه إتا إنه بتبلغوا security على ناس أقل في داخل إنك براو.
Naam. Wasadzama swali taki shunule and secretary na majat ketire.
Okay, swali telo de halama del gewa de ladi bidi musalam de ladi miten.
Okay.
Swali betailo.
Shukran. Akiran Lucas Sabit Basa Lugali salam bija miten.
Yeah, peace building is a collective effort. I want to say this slowly and I hope I will be very clear. Peace building, ya Jamaa, is a collective responsibility. And if today, all of us, all South Sudanese, if we say today we will stop to resolve our differences by force, by fighting, we will stop cattle raiding, we will stop revenge killing. Somebody killed my son, I will also kill their son. If we decide today, peace comes when people decide to build peace and resolve their conflict in a peaceful manner. There is no amount of violence that can bring peace. No amount of guns. No amount of violence. And there is nowhere in history where a community wiped out another community by force completely. It is not there. Every wars, First World War, Second World War, community war between countries came to peace during the time when people decided to talk. There is nothing we shall get from violence. An eye for an eye, revenge and revenge. It will not bring the peace we need. And building peace is a collective responsibility. You must do your part so that I do my part. I must advise my children for social cohesion. You must advise your children for social cohesion. This is how we build a peaceful country. If we do this, South Sudan will be peaceful, economy will boost, agriculture will progress, we will move everywhere, day and night, and the South Sudan that we are dreaming of will be realized.
Thank you so much, Undersecretary, for coming and sharing your experience with us. We look forward also to have you here again very soon. And I would like also to wish you a happy 14th Independent Anniversary. Thank you so much. With that, dear listener, we have come to the end of this very conversation. Thank you so much for asking those good questions.
Judicial Service Commission here.